Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Southwest.
Jeff Bannister's hopes from May were realized as your Texas Rangers clawed back into contention in the West with solid starting pitching and a revamped bullpen. But it was the red-hot offense that fueled the streak. Texas led the majors in home runs and runs scored for the month of May, but now must keep it going without third baseman Adrian Beltre. It's a confident dugout that believes they will keep the offense cranking as veteran Colby Lewis looks to get June off to a good start. The Rangers take on the White Sox next. Texas Rangers baseball is presented by AT Uverse TV. Well, a gorgeous night here at Globe Life Park. A beautiful Tuesday evening. The weather getting more summer-like. And the Rangers breaking out the warm streak as they did in May, trying to carry it over into June. Tonight, the White Sox visit the Rangers, the first of three, right here on Fox Sports Southwest. And welcome in, everyone, along with Tom Greaves, Steve Busby. Delighted you to join us for this Tuesday night of Rangers baseball, game number 52 of this season in 2015. Rangers trying to keep it going, and they have a new addition. By now, you've already heard the news. Joey Gallo has been promoted from Double-A to the Rangers.
Well, it's an exciting night, Buzz. There's no doubt about it. I'm sure Joey Gallo's excited. It's an exciting night for the player development department, for the scouting department, and for all the fans that are here tonight to get the Rangers a chance to see the Rangers' best young prospect. His power exploits are legendary. You've heard all about him throughout the minor league system. He's only going to be here until Adrian Beltre as well, maybe a couple of weeks. In the meantime, chances are we're going to get to see him hit a long home run. He's been the minor league player of the year. He's hit 40 or more home runs each of the last two seasons in the minor leagues, and you don't see many guys that do that, Buzz.
No, you don't, as a matter of fact. And at 21 years of age, he's on the second youngest Ranger to play this year. Rougned Odor a few days younger. So it'll be Joey Gallo and the Rangers looking to get off on the right foot against the White Sox tonight. We'll be back with the starting lineups in the first pitch right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. off the mound. And before he gets down there, let's hit it down to Emily Jones with Elvis Andrews.
Buzz, thank you very much. Well, Elvis, pretty fun to come to the ballpark these days, isn't it?
It's a lot of fun. Every time you're winning, it's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
Joey Gallo making his major league debut tonight. He's got a locker beside yours. What do you tell the young kid?
Not too much. Usually when guys get called up, there's, they have a lot of going on, family and friends and coaches and learning, new signs. So I just, try to make him feel comfortable. A couple jokes around, but it's basically, making him understand that he's the same play, say baseball. Just, try to do the same and don't try to do too much.
Elvis, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
We'll send it back now to you guys.
All right, Emily, thank you. Yeah, there he is, Joey Gallo, down there at third base, getting loose. And the butterflies have to be churning for the big guy. But,
if they're not, there's something wrong.
Now you get that first pitch under your belt, the first fastball to you that you hit a mile and a half. That'll make the nerves calm down just a little bit.
If his nerves are calm, I know one thing, his family's nerves aren't calm.
Now Colby Lewis out there, and here's the Amica starting lineup for the White Sox, Tom.
The White Sox are going to lead off with Adam Eaton, their center fielder. Melky Cabrera plays left field. The first baseman is Adam LaRoche. Right field, Avisael Garcia. The DH is Connor Gillespie. Alexi Ramirez is the shortstop, batting sixth. The third baseman, batting seventh, Gordon Beckham. Ex-Ranger Giovanni Soto is the catcher. And batting ninth is the second baseman, Carlos Sanchez.
And that lineup will face the 35-year-old veteran Colby Lewis, our progressive scouting report for Colby. He's trying to bounce back from his worst outing of the year last time out against Cleveland, only 2 2/3 innings. He's had great luck against the White Sox, so a perfect team if you're trying to bounce back. Last several times out, he has been nothing short of stellar against them. And he looks to have better command tonight than he did his last time out. So that was the one thing that he really couldn't counteract, was bad command, especially of the breaking ball. And when he gets reduced to one pitch and command of that is kind of spotty, he said, there's not many extra bullets in my arsenal to work with. Well, Colby, a little extra determination tonight. Going out to the mound, the Ranger defense supporting him. Delivered to you by DeMontron, RB. Outfield this evening, the line from the Shields in left. Leonis Martin in center, Shin-Soo Choo is in right. Moreland at first, Alberto and Andrews up the middle. Joey Gallo, his major league debut at third. And Robinson Chirinos behind the plate, taking care of the big right-hander, Colby Lewis. Adrian Beltre with that splint on his left hand. Walking around the clubhouse today, just kind of a dour mood, I would think, for Adrian. Tried to keep it light. Tough for him, though. That he just gotten things going pretty well offensively, and to have something like that happen, you can't be very happy with it. To left field, the Shields going into foul territory. The line were able to track that down, and Adam Eaton is the first out here tonight. Well, Colby Lewis just needs a couple of pitches to get the first out of the ball game.
One thing that helps DeShields when he goes into foul territory in this ballpark, when he goes up against that wall, he gets there quicker than most left fielders, which gives him a better chance to wait for it rather than having to be on the dead run as he runs into the wall.
That's a good point. He does get there quicker than most.
I guess though it's all relative, because he could still have the same problem sprinting to catch a ball that other outfielders just don't even bother to get to.
Yeah.
They stop and run. So I guess he could still have the same problem to contend with. It would only be on the same ball for each guy.
Well, Melky Cabrera, one of the offseason additions by the White Sox, and he hits one to deep center. Going back, Leonis Martin camps under it. That is out number 2. Well, Cabrera flies out.
That's like saying, Buzz, if they shortened the base paths to 87 feet, you'd get more infield hits. That's true, but you'd still be caught by the same margin at 87 feet,
Yeah.
Whether it's 90 or 100 feet.
Right.
Well, if you're going for a ball down the left field line and you're really, really fast, there's still going to be a ball that you're going to have to run fast right near the wall to catch. Just because you get there quicker doesn't mean you'll never have to run into the wall.
Now, the way I look at it, Tom, if you run that fast, you're going to hurt yourself because you're going to get hit harder.
You better slow down. That's why you see so many guys go toward the foul line and slide to try to catch it. That way they hit the wall with their feet instead of with their shoulder.
Adam LaRoche, the hitter, and he tops one off the end of the bat out to Elvis, who's playing on the second base side of second. It's a very quick and tidy 7-pitch first inning for Colby Lewis. Half an inning in the books, no score. Brought to you by your Texas Ford dealer. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer now for great deals on America's best-selling brand. Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T UVerse TV. UVerse has more live TV channels on the go than cable. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Jeff Samardzija, the 30-year-old right-hander, going to work against Delino DeShields. That's how it gets underway. A strike on the inside corner. DeShields, a .274 average. Very fine on-base percentage at .378. He has done excellent work at the top of the Ranger order. And we'll take a look at the scouting report on Jeff Samardzija. A very heavy sinking fastball. Gets a lot of ground balls when he's throwing well. Has good velocity in the low to mid-90s. A sharp slider and an excellent split-fingered fastball that he can put anybody away with. Now, when he is on, and he has been on his last 3 times out, he is one of the tough customers in the American League. Rangers had a couple of looks at him last year when he was with the Oakland A's going down the stretch in September. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Samardzija with that .384 earned run average. That has come down by almost a full run in his last 3 outings. Inside, 3-2. Well, Delino trying to start things off by getting aboard. He'll be followed by the right fielder, Shin-Soo Choo. Rangers at 26-25. The first time they have been over 500 since June of last year when they were 31-30. Popped up right side. LaRoche at the railing, can't reach it. And the breeze blowing in from right center field helped that ball get back into the seats. Wind tonight coming out of the southeast. Just blowing basically straight in from center. About 10 to 15 miles an hour at times. 87-degree evening here at Globe Life Park. A little bit of humidity, which you would expect with all the water still in the area. Well, all the lakes and rivers extremely full. Samardzija to the wind again, the 3-2 pitch. And another foul ball. White Sox got Samardzija in a deal this past offseason. They felt that he was going to help their staff. And the April-May breakdown, there's the tough start that Samardzija got off to. And in May, 3-0. And that ERA of 3 in it. 1 3/4 runs difference. That is over the head of Garcia, and he makes the catch backpedaling. The ball got out there. It looked like it was going to clear him, and it died. And he was able to twist around at the last second to make the grab for out number 1.
He was playing very shallow, which is why it looked like it was going to go over his head. But he got a pretty good jump on the ball for a big guy. Almost overran it. Reached back and made the catch. Got to it easily. Off the bat, didn't look like it was going to be quite that easy to make the catch.
Well, nice play by Abisail Garcia. Excuse me. Shin-Soo Choo takes a strike on the inside corner. Choo at .236 for the year. 7 home runs, 23 driven in. 3 for 13 with a home run against Samardzija. Little looper out into left field. And the left fielder couldn't see it. That's Cabrera. And he had to come in and make a tumbling catch.
Well, there must be something up there that caused him not to see the ball. Left field is definitely a sun field. It doesn't look like the sun's shining that brightly, but something affected him, so I don't know what else it could have been other than the sun.
Don't have any idea.
He didn't see it off the bat.
Well, he turned it into an adventure, and turned out to be a very nice play.
You're going to get sunglasses now, I guess.
Now, while we have a second here, Tom's going to tell you about the Southwest Airlines Texas Rangers batting order.
Well, the Rangers will obviously lead off with Delino DeShields, followed by Shin-Soo Choo. Prince Fielder is the DH. Mitch Moreland moves up to the cleanup spot. Elvis Andrus, as far as I can tell, for the first time in his career, will bat 5th today and play shortstop. The newcomer Joey Gallo is batting 6th at third base. Robinson Chirinos is the catcher, followed by Leonis Martin and Hanser Alberto.
Line drive over the shift.
They almost caught that one, too.
Into right field for a base hit. And Prince Fielder starts off June the same way he hit the entire month of May.
Boy, they had Sanchez way out in right field, and Prince hit the ball right to him. Fortunately, it went about a foot over his head. High fastball, and after the first 2 plays, the right fielder and left fielder both made nice plays. That was almost the third one.
Pretty tough to tell your second baseman to play a little deeper.
He couldn't have gone any deeper.
No, Fielder aboard with the first hit of the night by either ball club. Here's Mitch Moreland. Strike 1 to Mitch. Moreland at .289, 5 home runs, 18 driven in. Mitch, a little bit of a downturn of late. But ever since right before he had the elbow surgery and then continuing afterwards, he has been a better than .300 average hitter. And that ball's hit to right field for a base hit. Fielder will stop at second. Back-to-back 2-out singles, and they were both ropes. Fielder and now Moreland, 2 on, 2 out. Elvis Andrus coming up. Take a look at the rest of the defense. Brought to you by Steel for the White Sox. Now you've seen the 2 cornermen, Cabrera in left and Garcia in right. Adam Eaton is the center fielder in between the 2 of them. LaRoche at first, Sanchez and Ramirez up the middle, Gordon Beckham at third, and old friend Giovanni Soto is catching tonight. Soto has caught all 8 Samardzija starts, make that all 9 now for the veteran right-hander. 2 on, 2 out. Here's Elvis. And he has never been a fixture in the number 5 spot. But driving in runs at the best rate in his career for this time of the year, 18 of them so far. And he is second in the American League as shortstops as far as driving in runs, trailing only the White Sox shortstop, Alexei Ramirez. 1-0 pitch to it. The Rangers trying to get to Samardzija here early. You've seen a couple of pitches up that Fielder picked on, that Moreland picked on. Elvis had one there from Samardzija and fouled it back. Robin Ventura in his 4th year at the helm of the White Sox says there's not really been much of a secret to the White Sox turnaround. He said better pitching coupled with better defense. Chopper, Beckham does a spin around, throws the second too late. And that is going to load him up. Now listen to this roll. Joey Gallo coming up for his first major league hit.
Batting sixth, the third baseman, number 13, Joey Gallo.
Can't write this any better than this. Bases loaded in his first at bat. I hope he sees the same pitch that Prince saw, or Mitch.
Joey's mom and dad down there capturing it all on video. Tony and Laura Gallo. They may have the most butterflies of anybody in the stand. In this ballpark.
They're having a hard time breathing right now.
Gallo had 9 home runs in just 36 Double-A games this year. He was trying to hit that one to Waxahachie. You will not see a half swing from Gallo very much. He doesn't believe in cutting swings down. This young man, 21 years, 195 days old. Bases loaded, 2 out in the first. Hard hit, and it's by LaRoche into right field. Fielder scores. Moreland right behind him will score, and the Rangers lead it 2-0. And we'll see what Steve Weller, the official scorer, does for Joey Gallo. He's had his first major league hit.
It's a big scoring decision, that's for sure. Could be first major league hit, first 2 major league RBIs. It was a hard hit smash. LaRoche is a good fielder. Took a little tricky hop and bounced by him. You make a case for a hit, for sure. I don't think he ever touched it.
Now still nothing on the scoreboard. We'll wait for the decision and see what Joey has. And regardless of the outcome of the decision, there are 2 runs across for the Rangers. They lead 2-0.
And it was a smash, too.
And it is a base hit.
I don't think Steve has to be at all ashamed of that ball. That could easily go as a hit. I mean, I would think there's somewhere, sometime, someone would call that an error, but if you've ever tried to field a ball, hit that hard, taking a bad hop, I think a base hit is the sensible call.
Congratulations to Joey Gallo, his first major league hit, his first 2 major league RBI. He's got the Rangers out in front 2-0 here in the first. And that man's got to remember that moment and savor it for the rest of his life. Robinson Chirinos, a 2.08 average. And he has done well against Samardzija, 2 for 6 with a home run. Fastball inside and hit him. Yeah, got him on the left hand.
Couldn't tell.
Yeah, he's holding his right hand now.
Samardzija has that boring action to his fastball. It tails down and in to a right-hand hitter. He also kind of turns his back a little bit to the hitter, so it's somewhat tough to pick up. And he's also got good velocity. So that combination on this kind of a pitch makes it hard to get out of the way. Well, that sounded like hand.
Yeah, sure did.
Hopefully it got some of the knob of the bat, and not all hand.
Right there on the outside of that wrist and bottom of the hand. Kevin Harmon out there looking at it. Hector Ortiz, the first base coach. Jeff Bannister, the Rangers skipper. All taking a look at Robinson Chirinos grimacing as he made his way down to first. And you look at that replay, you can understand why he would grimace.
Yeah.
So Kevin Harmon giving the test to make sure that there's nothing that he can determine that's broken. Catchers are pretty tough about that. Although that's got to hurt no matter how tough you are.
It hurts, but catchers, I think if you compare them to the rest of the population in Major League Baseball, catchers are by far the toughest. It just comes with the territory.
Yeah.
You want to be a big league catcher and be a regular in the big leagues, you're going to have to learn how to play with pain.
Well, the bases loaded once again. All this has happened with 2 outs. Leonis Martin now is up there. 4 hits and a hit by pitch. for the Rangers, all with 2 outs. They lead 2-0. They're looking for more with Leonis up there. Martin at .224, 3 home runs, 14 driven in. Popped up, foul. That will be back into the seats. Soto over to take a look, but it's a good 10 rows over the White Sox dugout.
Leonis could use a gapper right here for his confidence. Sometimes that's all it takes is one good swing, one good result, take a deep breath, and take off from there.
Now, Leonis's last 4 ball games, he started to turn it around a little bit. He's gone 5 for 13. That's a .385 mark. That ball's lined to right field. That's down for a hit. Garcia knocks it down. 1 run is home. Here comes Gallo. He scores. On to third base goes Chirinos. And Leonis Martin with a 2-run single. The Rangers are on top 4-0.
There's been some hard hit balls this inning. That ball right there by Leonis was hit as hard as any of them. Smash into right field. Come through with men on base like that. Great feeling for a hitter. Well, he gets a pitch spinning right down the middle of the plate. Rangers are taking advantage against Samardzija, all with 2 outs.
Now, the White Sox have been pummeled in the first inning this year. They had 42 runs scored against them in the first innings of games. That's the most in the American League. The Rangers have added 4 more. They're getting out in front very quickly, and the 9th man to come to the plate for the Rangers, Hanser Alberto, will step in. Alberto off to a quick start. He has hit safely in his first 3 major league games. Alberto at .364 with 3 RBI. Had a hit and an RBI, at least 1 RBI in each of his first 2 games. Snapped that with a game on Sunday, had a hit, but no RBI. Line drive to right, Garcia into the gap to make the catch.
Boy, he wasn't fooling anybody that inning.
There was a lot of noise in that inning. Look, the Rangers out in front, thanks in part to Joey Gallo's first major league hit. Rangers get 4 runs on 5 hits and lead 2 after 1. 4-0 Texas. Rangers continue the series against the White Sox. So head on out to Globe Life Park for an early summer game and enjoy the ballpark hot dogs. All of them you can eat for just $1 each. Visit TexasRangers.com or you can call 972-RANGERS for tickets. Well, Colby Lewis staked to a 4-0 lead as he goes out for the second inning, facing Abisail Garcia. Colby was 2-0 last year against the White Sox. Had a couple of complete games in Chicago his last 2 times up there. Complete game shutouts, as a matter of fact, his last 2 times in Chicago, and beat them last April here at Globe Life Park. 1-1 pitch. Garcia, 323 average overall, 4 home runs, 18 driven in. He's back in the lineup after having some knee problems, had to sit out for a while. Little check swing roller down to Moreland.
Might be the easiest 4 outs Kobe's ever gotten. 11 pitches for the 4 outs.
Well, let's head down to checking with Jim Knox, who has some very special folks with us.
Oh, I think the 2 proudest parents in the stands right now has to be Tony and Laura Gallo. Joey Gallo just got his first major league hit. What was going through your mind, Tony?
I'm just amazed. Just amazing.
And Laura, the last time you talked to Joey was yesterday, the day before. How did he tell you that he was coming up to the big leagues?
Yesterday he called me at work and he told me, Mom, you're not going to believe it. I'm going to be playing in Arlington tomorrow. And I started crying. He said, Mom, all that hard work we did, all that traveling, every weekend, lessons, it's paying off now. So.
Now, Tony, I actually understand that you had quite the Little League team. Who did you coach?
Bryce Harper and Joey were on the same team. A number of other guys, actually. Jake Hager was on that team, too. Was Chris Bryant. They all playing pro ball now. Quite an amazing team.
That team had to go undefeated. Now, at what age did you think, well, maybe Joey has something at baseball?
Probably around 8 years old when he started hitting home runs. Bryce Harper hit 3rd and Joey hit 4th. And between the 2 of them, they were doing a lot of damage.
Definitely a nice 1-2 punch to have in your lineup. Well, I'll let you guys go and enjoy the rest of the game. Congratulations. I know this is a big moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, Buzz.
All right, Noxie.
Great.
Yeah.
What a Little League team.
Yeah, that's jeez. I think they have had a little trouble probably getting teams to play them.
Man.
Alexei Ramirez, shortstop, up there batting .227, but 2 home runs, 21 RBI. He lines one to left. The Shields kind of lost it for a second. And plays it on a long hop, and Ramirez aboard with a 2-out single, the first base runner against Colby Lewis tonight.
Batting 7th, third baseman, number 15, Gordon.
No, 1 on, 2 out. Gordon Beckham now will come up. Beckham getting the start at 3rd once again. .263 average. He has driven in 13, 3 home runs. Guy that's moved around year after year. There goes Ramirez. The throw to second, not in time. Ramirez able to swipe second. Andrew Alberto trying to decoy the second base umpire into thinking, yeah, we got him there. Dana DeMuth, no, not buying that one.
Well, Ramirez is a good base stealer, 7 out of 9 this year. He was kind of taking that one with good speed and a little bit of the element of surprise, maybe not expecting him to run in that situation.
So Ramirez now in scoring position, 2 balls and no strikes, the count to Beckham. And he pops it up. Alberto signaling for the fair catch, makes it, and that will do it. No runs a hit, a stolen base, and a man left. After 1.5, Rangers 4, White Sox nothing. brought to you by your Texas Ford dealer. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer now for great deals on America's best-selling brand. Ford is the best in Texas. The Rangers come to bat here in the bottom of the second. Delino to Shields lays down a perfect bunt.
Perfect for him. It might not have been perfect for the rest of us, but once he gets the ball down in that general vicinity, you just basically forget it.
That is his fifth bunt base hit. He is now the most in the American League.
That's just out in no man's land. Samardzija obviously is an excellent athlete. He gets to it about as well as I guess he could get to it. Makes somewhat of a play out of it. Well, that can't be somewhat of a play if you can't even see the runner when you go to look at the base. You're already 4 feet by the bag.
You know, with the Shields, and the thing I like about him, Tom, is when he puts the bunt down, he's going toward first base. So he negates the idea that he's a right-handed hitter.
Yeah, you hope the perfect pitch to get if you're a right-hand hitter is a pitch a little bit out over the plate, maybe outside, so you can really get your momentum going. It looked like on that particular pitch, he steps back a little bit so he can do exactly what you're saying. Step back, and then the ball is a little bit out over the plate. And the other thing he does, Mac talked about this several times, is how quickly he can reach full speed.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to take 2 or 3 steps to get going. He's pretty much going the minute he starts running.
He's developed a pretty good lead over there this time on first base. And Samardzija keeping a close eye on him. Delino with the bunt base hit. Rangers now with half a dozen hits off of Jeff Samardzija. Nobody out in the second inning. Maybe a double play grounder. Ramirez turns it over, dug out by LaRoche, and Chu grounds into a 4-6-3 double play. Out of the Shields erase. There are 2 outs and Prince Fielder coming up. Well, for the Rangers, that is their 28th double play that they've grounded into. That's right there at the fewest in the American League. Prince Fielder, a base hit his first time. He got things started with 2 outs in the first. His was the first of 4 consecutive hits and 6 consecutive hitters reaching base. Average now at 362. Samardzija pulling the string, and Fielder tried to time it. Just couldn't quite wait long enough. No balls, 2 strikes. Fielder coming into play tonight, the best average in the American League, trailing only D. Gordon for the Major League lead. Gordon at the start of play today hitting .370. Miami Marlins second baseman.
And Miami's got to feel that they're wasting D. Gordon at the top of their lineup. They're 20 and 32. They were supposed to be a contender.
How about this? Joey Gallo standing there talking to Adrian Beltre, asking him some questions, but just standing there, you have to, maybe by reverse osmosis, going to absorb things. I think I would be on his hip pocket every chance you had at the time that Joey's going to be up here. And that was one of the things that Jeff Bannister and John Daniels mentioned, the culture specifically with Adrian Beltre and Prince Fielder, the veteran players, Elvis Andrus, that are more than willing to share with the younger players as they come up. And that's one of the reasons that they had no hesitation calling up Chichi Gonzalez or Joey Gallo. I think that's a very valid point. You don't worry about them getting shunted off to the corner of the clubhouse somewhere. They're going to be included. Another 1-2 pitch. High fly ball, foul territory. LaRoche comes up a row short. That's back in the second row, and he could only reach into the first. We'll try another 1-2 pitch.
Just got to reach down and launch that thing straight up in the air.
Smarja to the wind. And he jammed him, and fielder rolls it out into the teeth of the shift. Second baseman Sanchez had to race in and make the throw on the run, and that'll do it for the Rangers. No runs a hit, nobody left after 2. Rangers 4, White Sox nothing.
Rangers leading the White Sox by a score of 4-0, and tomorrow is that magical day that all Red Raider fans have been waiting for. University's days continue here at Globe Life Park with Texas Tech Day tomorrow. All you have to do is go to texasrangers.com/udays. You have to buy a special Texas Tech ticket, and the first 2,000 people who purchase those tickets and come through the gates tomorrow will receive one of these gems. It's got the trucker mesh in the back, extremely stylish with the Texas T and, of course, the Texas Tech colors. So texasrangers.com/udays. And to all my friends who are going to try to get this from me, it's not happening, guys.
Okay, Em.
So there.
Yeah. So she already has her hat. Does that leave 1,999 for the other folks? Giovanni Soto leading off here in the top of the 3rd inning. The Ranger batting .209, a couple of home runs, 9 driven in, 1 for 3 against his former battery mate, Colby Lewis. Outside, 2-2. Giovanni back in Chicago, where he started his major league career on the north side. Came up with the Cubs. Four-game hitting streak going for Giovanni at the moment. So the White Sox offensively a little challenged, but starting to put up a little more representative numbers. Up the middle and by Elvis into center field, a leadoff single for Soto. Make that a 5 straight game, and it'll bring up Carlos Sanchez before the switch hitting second baseman steps in. Let's send it over to John Radigan for a Mazda game break. All right, John, thank you. Carlos Sanchez, young second baseman, a switch hitter up there from the left side. Hitting just .185 in his time at the big league level this year. 1 ball, no strikes. Sanchez, 3 runs driven in. Just a 22-year-old from Venezuela. And Colby misses outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Sanchez made his major league debut last year, had 100 at-bats with the White Sox. Hit .250. Colby a check of first. Soto not going anywhere. And Sanchez hits it pretty well to right center, but very playable for Leonis Martin. That is out number one. Back to first goes Giovanni Soto. Let's take a look at our Kubota power stats. We're talking about Colby Lewis. The times he has had against the White Sox. Last 4 starts. 4-0 with a minuscule 0.92 earned run average. They've hit just .222 against him. 4 walks, 27 strikeouts in those 4 starts. 2 complete game shutouts for Colby Lewis. He is matched up against a team that he has more or less had in his back pocket. Back to the top of the order for Adam Eaton, who fouled out to left field his first time up there. Eaton, prior to last year, came over from the Arizona Diamondbacks to the White Sox. White Sox looking to upgrade their defense, particularly in center field. That's what attracted them to Adam Eaton.
Yeah, Eaton had a good season for him last year as a leadoff hitter. Hit .300. Can really run, hit gap kind of hitter. Hits his share of doubles, and no one's had more triples than he has since the start of last year.
Chopper slowly hit to first, and it's foul. And he swiped 15 bases last year for the Sox. They have not been as much a running team as what the Go-Go Sox were, but they'll still use their speed on the base paths from time to time. Giovanni Soto looking across the diamond, see what might be happening. First base coach Darrell Boston helping him read the signs. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Check swing, and that, well, it has been a tough night already for Robinson Chirinos. He took one off the right wrist as a hitter, and now he took a check swing foul that came down and got him off the bat of Adam Eaton. Catchers get extended like that, reaching up for the foul ball. When they're crouched down, you can kind of cover up your legs a little bit with your glove and stuff. When you have to reach up, you leave your legs exposed like that, and that foul ball can take a big chunk out of you. Another 1-2 pitch. Colby, the Bakersfield, California native, just now starting his second year, if you will, of being completely healthy. It was about this time last year when Colby said he finally started feeling some semblance of normal on the mound, and he said he got used to a longer stride after the hip resurfacing. He said his body felt great, but trying to figure out how to use it was the problem. And he said once I got in the middle of the season, he said things started falling into place. And the numbers would say that he became a much better pitcher, and that happened too. Another foul ball, and it's still 2-2. Our Fox tracker showing the first 7 pitches of this at bat. He has 3 of the 4 corners of the strike zone nailed down pretty well. Colby ready to work once again. And another foul ball. Well, Colby getting his work in, rubbing up new baseballs after all these fouls. Rangers supporting Colby with 4 in the first here tonight. A drive to right field. Chu is going to watch this one go into the upper deck. A 2-run home run for Eaton. And that cuts the Ranger lead in half. It's now 4-2 Texas.
Well, he got the optimal pitch and made optimal contact for him to hit one like that. Line shot into the upper deck. That's pretty much his best swing at the pitch he would like to hit the most and the most solid contact he could possibly make.
Yeah, that's that breaking ball that never got down and in. Colby, we've seen so often able to throw that right at the back foot of a left-handed hitter and didn't get there. Adam Eaton and the bat intercepted it. And a closer look at that, up 2 rows into the upper deck.
Well, that went right by that upper deck. I don't think the guy even saw that ball go by him. The ball was hit hard.
No, base is empty now, and still just 1 out. Melky Cabrera 0 for 1 with a fly ball to center. Cabrera, well, he laced that one foul. Went out and kind of hooked it. Cabrera, over the years, a very, very solid hitter. He's not off to a great start this year, though. The .240 batting average. And lately, it's been a little bit worse than that. .202 in his last 22 ball games. Mitch Moreland cuts off that ground ball, and he'll race to the bag. 2 gone.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of Pablo Sandoval going. Right-handed, Pablo Sandoval, I think, was 2 for 41. Cabrera's 4 for 47, so he's got a whole lot better.
Yeah. Wonder if he's given up hitting right-handed against left-handers.
I don't know. He's a .289 hitter left-handed, .085 right-handed.
2 gone for Adam LaRoche. LaRoche topped a ground ball out to Elvis. The first base side of second base, his first time up. Colby deals strike 1. LaRoche having a good road trip. He's 10 for 30 for the White Sox. White Sox playing their 9th game on this road trip. They had split the first 8 ball games, having won 2 out of 3 down in Houston over the weekend. LaRoche drives one to left center field. Leonis Martin going back near the track, onto the track to make the grab, and that will do it. White Sox get on the board. They get 2 runs on 2 hits. Adam Eaton with a home run. 2.5 in the books, 4-2 Rangers.
Fans, TexasRangers.com. Get online and vote right now and get those Rangers in the All-Star game. Who are we going to vote for here, buddy?
Good fielder.
I like that. Let's see the fielder shirt on. And look at this. We got a Joey Gallo shirt. First one, I guess, in this. And is that the great Ben Rogers? It sure is. Look at Ben out here. Where's Skin? There you go. All right, right, Texas Ranger fans, what do we do now? Get online and vote what? Rangers, all right, thanks. Throw this guy out of here.
Actually, you got to organize them a little better than that. That wasn't a very good response. Gee. Mitch Moreland checking his swing. It's a strike anyway. Mitch leading off the Ranger third. Moreland, Andrews, and Gallo, the first three to do the swinging against Jeff Samardzija. Moreland had a base hit to right his first time up there. Came around to score. Rangers had 5 hits in that first inning. 5 singles and a hit batter. And Mitch gone on strikes. That split-fingered pitch by Jeff Samardzija accounts for his first strikeout.
Like he took a right turn when he got near home plate.
Yep.
Instead, a lot of times a split-finger pitch will go straight down. That one's spinning sideways, and I think he had to move 8 inches away from him.
That's Samardzija's first strikeout tonight. 1 away. Here's Elvis. Elvis had an infield single. All that damage by the Rangers in the first inning was with 2 outs. Ball 1. That was Elvis's second hit on this homestand. He did not have a good series against the Red Sox. But you go back over the last 9 ball games. He was hit 286. 1-1 pitch to him. Mentioned Elvis driving in runs at a pretty good clip. Those 9 ball games I just mentioned, he drove in 7 runs. So he's on an RBI tear that he has not had before in his career. 2-2 the count. I think part of that goes back, Tom, to what you talked about, and the adjustment he made in his swing to get a little more extension through the ball.
Yeah, we've seen, kind of regular examples of that. And hopefully they become more and more frequent, but sprinkled throughout the season have been some really good swings that we probably didn't see him take last year.
A full count here. 1 out, base is empty. Line down the right field line. It is slicing. And a nice catch down there right in the front row. Brought the glove and everything, listening to Tom Bree.
She probably said, "Why are you bringing that glove to the ball game tonight?" Well, now you know.
Now you know. Another 3-2 pitch. Low ball 4. Well, it's aboard for the second time, and here comes Joey Gallo. AT&T Uverse Rewind. Take you back the first time up.
Number 13, Joey Gallo.
Joey Gallo got there, his parents, and boom, hard rocket right by Adam LaRoche. A 2-run single for Joey Gallo. Now up there with Elvis at first and 1 out here in the 3rd inning. Gallo at Frisco this year was hitting .314. He had missed the first couple of weeks and had some surgery. There's a drive deep to right field. It is on its way. Goodbye. Upper tank for Joey Gallo. His first major league home run. It is 6-2.
He hits a double and a home run every day for the next 2 weeks. Good luck trying to send him out.
like that.
The second swing that you take in the big leagues, you have to have a curtain call. The second swing.
Oh, goodness. We're not lying to you, folks. This is not a made-up story. You could not write a script any better than that.
Buzz, if you don't like the sound of the ball meeting the bat for a home run, you really didn't like that sound.
That hurts my head. It really does. Smarja just put his hands on his hips. He didn't like that sound either.
He probably didn't like the location of that pitch very well either. Boy, he looks just like his parents too, doesn't he?
He does. Well, Carlos Corcoran is hitting for Robinson Chirinos. So apparently Chirinos is too beaten up after the first couple of innings to continue. So Corcoran up there, and he skies out to center for the second out. So 2 gone, and Leonis Martin will come up. Joey Gallo. It's a pretty good young talent right there. Delino DeShields and Joey Gallo. Leonis a 2-run single in that first inning. Rangers now 6 runs on 7 hits tonight. Well, for Jeff Smargy, who came in really on a good roll as far as what he had done the last several times out there. And Martin, his second solid base hit of the night.
Hey, you mentioned he was 5 for 13, Buzz, coming into this game. And he's got a couple of ropes. 2 RBI single in the first and another one here in the third. Let's see him get that hit with men in scoring position, bring in a couple of runs, and now with a couple of outs, he can maybe try to steal a base.
Hanser Alberto, the number 9 hitter, steps to the plate. Leonis stepping off that lead at first. Alberto takes a strike. Hanser lined out to right field to end the first inning. Alberto now 4 out of 12 in his first 4 major league games. How about that in the past week? Hanser Alberto make his major league debut. Chichi Gonzalez makes his major league debut. Now Joey Gallo makes his major league debut.
Yeah. Early in the year, Delino DeShields made his major league debut. Right. And they've all contributed too.
Sure have.
Hanser had a triple and drove in 3 runs. Delino's pretty much playing regularly now, leading off for the Rangers, who've been playing great pretty much since he's been doing that.
Saying one thing, Joey is surrounding himself with the right people. Get Adrian and then get next to Prince. Beckham recovers the bobble and throws out Alberto. Side retired, but Joey Gallo does it again. A long home run, his first as a major leaguer. 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 left. After 3, 6-2 Rangers. or softball complex, or get new equipment with the Globe Life Texas Rangers baseball and softball grant program. We encourage you to apply if your fields have been affected by the recent storms and flooding. And eligible organizations in Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arkansas, and Louisiana can apply at texasrangers.com/grants. Applications are due by June 30th. Deep in the hole, Elvis, a jump throw, got it!
What a play. He does that every time you come on the air, Matt.
We talked about that before.
You were here last time he did that.
Yeah, we've been talking about that. I said, I haven't seen it very much. I'll be up there the 4th and the 5th. Let me see what you got.
Well, I tell you, our infielders are getting a lot of help from Mitch Moreland over first base, too, boy.
You are absolutely right. This doesn't happen if Mitch doesn't stretch and pick it. It just goes down as a, almost nice play.
Yep.
But Mitch makes it a spectacular play by making the back end of it. Beautiful.
I don't know that we're seeing many first basemen that can do that as well as Mitch can, anyway.
Look at that.
Man, what a play.
That is outstanding. And all the while, Colby Lewis down on the mound saying, yeah, that's it. Go get him. Nice going.
2 up. Look at that. Perfect timing. He gets the ball in his glove. 2 steps, and Elvis is up in the air and just gets the ball over there in the vicinity of Mitch Moreland to make the play.
He was swinging a miss by Connor Gillespie, and it's 0-2.
Well, he got hurt swinging at that curveball.
That didn't look good.
Well, in case you hadn't known, folks, Mark McLemore's up here with us. And if you hadn't heard his voice, you saw what Elvis did. So that signals the doctor of defense coming on. Elvis going out, can't make the play there. That would have been a circus catch. And Elvis upset about it, but no.
Well, how about those for back-to-back plays? If he made that catch. That's why he wanted it, too. He wanted both those plays.
You can't be really upset about missing that, can you?
No.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yes, you can.
A little bit. Okay.
When you're in the field and you're going back like that and you come that close, absolutely. If it ticks your glove, you feel that you should catch it.
Yeah. Did that tick his glove? I wasn't.
Nah, but
close enough?
Close enough to where he thought he should have caught it.
Doggone it. Or however you say that in Spanish.
Yeah, he said something you probably don't want to translate.
That was doggone it.
Yeah.
1 on, 1 out. Alexi Ramirez takes just off the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. I guess you figure if you run that far, you're supposed to catch it, right?
That's exactly what you tell yourself. Okay, I'm going out this far. I better catch it. Yeah.
To right field, Chu. That's out number 2. Back to first, Gillespie. Of course, you also might think about it from the standpoint of, if I make this catch, the pitcher's going to buy me something. I don't know what it's going to be, but he's going to buy me something. Might be dinner. Might be a new watch. You never know.
Especially 2 in a row, and Colby's that kind of guy for sure.
Yeah. Or at least lunch.
That does not include getting a plate fixed for him, after the game, the spread. That does not count.
Gordon Beckham takes a strike. Beckham popped out to second his first time up there. Rangers with a 6-2 lead. They've out-hit the White Sox 8-4. Colby's allowed just the 2-run home run to Adam Eaton. The only damage on the scoreboard. He works here in the 4th inning. Base hit to right field. Stopping at second after thinking about maybe going to third. Connor Gillespie had to get back quickly. 2 on, 2 out. And Giovanni Soto coming up. And back the Rangers with a walk-off win on Sunday. Bad timing for an off day, or do you just accept the off day and say, hey, we could use the rest?
Yeah, I think you've got to accept it, but when you're playing well, they want, obviously took 3 out of 4. And when you're playing well, you want to keep going.
Sure.
You don't really want those off days now. When you're talking August and September, I think you welcome those off days a little bit easier.
And the Rangers only had 1 off day in the whole month of May.
Yep.
They had that, and that was a travel day going to Boston to start a long road trip. They had a bunch of off days in April. Just a crazy schedule. But not much in May. 3 Mondays off in June. So in 2 months, they had 4 off days, 4 Mondays.
Wow. I don't think people realize how difficult that is.
Yeah.
That's a lot of baseball. You throw in the travel and
Sure.
And some of those off days aren't actual off days because you're getting on a plane and traveling to the next city.
Our last trip, we had a couple of 2 o'clock arrivals. Next road trip, there's going to be 2 arrivals, probably later. One of them going to be later than that.
And on strikes, Giovanni Soto, Colby, with his first strikeout of the night, sends Soto down. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 left. We played 3.5 at Globe Life Park. It's the Rangers 6 and the White Sox 2. There now at Southwest.com. And by the Mazda 6. J.D. Power has awarded the Mazda 6 highest ranked vehicle appeal among mid-sized cars. Yes, Marja back to work here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Rangers on top 6-2. And for the 3rd time tonight, Delino to Shields leading off an inning. Delino 1 out of 2, butted his way aboard last time. Marja drops in the breaking ball to even things up. Average at 278 for Delino. His 5th bunt base hit. And that is tops in the American League. He was tied with his teammate, Leonis Martin, with 4. And that bunt base hit got him on top of things. Got him swinging. It's Marja. Looked like that splitter again. He has that thing working now. 2 strikeouts. 1 gone for Shin-Soo Choo.
Samar is one of those guys, if you really want to get to him early, and the Rangers did tonight, getting those 4 runs in the 1st inning, because it seems that he's one of that type of pitcher that gets better as the game goes along. And Buzz, why is that? I don't know. Does the guy get more comfortable? Does he get loose, or what is it? Typically?
It's a mental thing. You get more determined. Sometimes you go out there and everything feels good from the get-go, but that's rare. Most of the time you go out there, you're trying to figure out, okay, what do I have to work with tonight, and you're trying to dial in what what is most controllable for me? What corner? Now, what pitch to those corners? And it takes you an inning or two to get going. And if you get to a pretty good pitcher while he's in that thinking mode, you've got a chance to do some damage before he gets squared away. But that ball's going to be probably out of play down the left field line. Milky Cabrera thought it was.
I guess the other thing you hope, Buzz, is if you are trying to put it together in the first couple innings, you don't locate the ball like you want to, that the hitters foul it off or pop it up. The Rangers kind of teed off on Smarger when he was making those pitches.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why you can get to a guy that, until he finds out what his best formula is for that night, and then once he figures that out and dials it in, forget it. He's got it in pretty good control. 2-1 pitch to Chu. That ball is hit well to right field. Way back up the alley. Goodbye. Shin-Soo Choo with his 8th home run of the year. 7-2 Rangers.
Boy, he got a high fastball. Hit that all the way over the bullpen in right field. Smarger came into this game 4-1 with a 3.27 ERA in his last 8 starts. Hadn't given up an earned run in 14 innings coming into this game.
Fielder hits a chopper out to Ramirez, the shortstop, for out number 2.
First baseman, Mitch Moreland.
Cover your ears, Buzz.
Yeah. Can you kind of jump on all those things? A little twitch.
Yes, Martin can't be too happy with Cabrera out there in left field right about now.
I wouldn't think so. That has not looked very good out there in support. Mitch Moreland, a strikeout and a single. Cabrera had the problems in the first inning locating the ball. The lighting was about like it is now. No shadows anywhere, but he had problems picking it up. That's fouled out of play by Mitch, and the count moves to 0-2. Moreland at .293 with the average. Off the end of the bat, straight back.
He got some hand on it.
So he might have left some hand on it.
See, if he brought his glove, he might have a souvenir right now.
Yeah, Moreland gone on strikes, and the Rangers are out in the 4th. But Shin-Soo Choo gets the Rangers on the board again. His 8th home run of the year. A blast over the bullpens in right. On to the 5th we go. It's now the Rangers 7 and the White Sox 2. the Twins, and fans will be treated to a post-game fireworks show presented by Dairy Max, and that'll be set to hip-hop music. Purchase tickets in the upper reserve section for just $14 using the online coupon code fireworks at texasrangers.com/specials. Colby Lewis back to the hill, and he is working to Carlos Sanchez, the young second baseman who takes strike one. Sanchez, a fly ball to center. His first time up tonight. Big slow hook that stayed just a bit wide. 2 balls and a strike. Now 3-1. That was Colby's 60th pitch of the night. Looking here in the top of the 5th inning. Line drive to left. DeShields dives and comes up with it.
Wow, what a play.
What a play by Delino DeShields. Completely stretched out, parallel to the turf, and he came up with a sinking line drive.
Sometimes you'll see diving or sliding catches as they catch about waist high. He needed every bit of that dive to just pick it right off the ground. What a play.
That's a great play. It's a difficult play. You've got a left-hander up there, and when he hits that ball, especially a low-line drive like that, it's tailing away towards the line. So not only did he have to get over there, but like Tom said, he had to get that off the turf.
That was nice.
I didn't think he had a shot at it, to be honest.
Well, if he didn't catch it, it would have been at least a triple.
The 1 out, now back to the top of the order. Adam Eaton homered his last time up. Finds himself down on the count here. No balls, 2 strikes. Eaton got a breaking ball from Colby that stayed up a little bit on the inside corner, and Eaton gave it a pretty good ride out here to the upper deck. 1-2. Well, Eaton now 3 home runs, 8 RBI after the 2-run blast. Just missed the outside corner. 2-2. We talked about the control difference or command difference that Colby just didn't have it last time out against Cleveland. Well, this time, a little bit different story. See, even the misses that he has are just off the plate, not missing by much. And Colby gets his second strikeout. Pretty much right where Corcoran had that target set. Now Melky Cabrera. Get word from the Ranger clubhouse that Robinson Chirinos has a bruised right hand. The x-rays were negative. He does have a hand, but there's nothing fractured there. Or he does have bones in his hand, but nothing broken. One pitch. Out of play over the White Sox dugout. 1-2. Moves that the Rangers had to make today. Of course, Joey Gallo coming up to take Adrian Beltre's place. Rangers also optioned Alex Claudio back to AAA, and Jake Smolinski has come up to fortify the bench. Cabrera flies out to right, and it's a very quick and tidy 1-2-3 inning. Second time the White Sox have been sent down in order by Colby Lewis. We played half the ball game. 7-2 Rangers. White Sox on Thursday, and the first 15,000 fans will receive a Texas Rangers yearbook. Don't miss a chance to get this annual collectible. Just visit TexasRangers.com for tickets. Elvis Andrus leading things off here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Elvis has been aboard twice and scored 2 runs. He's had a single and a walk. Rangers with 9 hits against Jeff Samardzija in the first 4 innings. No balls and 2 strikes. Elvis, a .239 average. One ball and 2 strikes. Samardzija to the wind. Elvis is probably wishing about right now that he had not swung at that pitch.
That definitely crossed his mind. But right there, he decides, no, don't swing. He knew he was going to hit himself.
that was the same pitch that was tailing away from Mitch when he struck out. It just kept on coming and coming closer and closer to him.
Up the middle by Samardzija. Sanchez, the second baseman, on the run. And he throws out Elvis, 1 away. Well, with Joey Gallo coming up, our T-Mobile game changer. It is Joey Gallo. 4 RBI tonight. The most ever by a Ranger in his major league debut. How about that?
Pretty good night.
Pretty good night. He's got 2 more bats left, too. He might just add to that total.
Yeah. You got that right. A single, a home run. 2 RBI in the first, 2 RBI in the third. This game's pretty easy. When you have that kind of talent, it can be easy sometimes. Off-speed pitch in for a strike. Take you back to the 3rd inning. All you needed to see was a smile on Gallo's face and hear the sound of that ball leaving the bat. Tells you all you need to know. One ball, 2 strikes. Just a bit outside. Yeah, just off the edge of the tracker. Almost. There's another drive to right field. Going back is Garcia. It is off the wall. A throw into second. Gallo in with the double. Well, had it not been for a little top spin, that would have been his 2nd home run. Instead, he's got 3 of the legs of the cycle.
Now that's a pretty good night. With at least 1 more at bat to go.
He must have gotten jammed a little bit on that
one. Ooh, another 2 feet. He's got his 2nd home.
Almost had it.
Well, Gallo at second with 1 out. Carlos Corcoran swinging through a pitch. Joey having to go headlong into second base.
Pretty nice play by Garcia to
Sure
play
was.
that ball off the wall, keep it a close play at second.
0-2. Corcoran. Fly ball to center back in the 3rd inning. The Rangers now double figures in hits tonight, 10 of them, 3 of them by Joey Gallo. Single, double, home run. One and 2. Well, I guess if first impressions are important, that's a pretty good first impression, I would think.
I think so. Tom, what do you think? Good impression?
I think it's a pretty good impression. I think just watching him walk up to the plate, knowing what he'd done in the minor leagues, that was a good impression. Just seeing what he looks like in a uniform, good enough for me.
Well, he is definitely swinging it.
Yeah.
He's not getting cheated.
Well, 2 gone after the strikeout. Leonis Martin now will try to pick up Joey Gallo. Martin, 2 for 2, a pair of singles. Just off the outside corner for ball 1. Well, Leonis now with 16 runs driven in. Batting average up to 234.
He also picked number 13. Not every team has a number 13 worn by a player. Not bad luck for him.
Sparja, a check of second, back to the plate. Is in the dirt. And the count goes to 2-1. Just trying to think of the guys who wore number 13 here in the past. I know that Mike Lamb wore it, didn't he, I believe?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think Lamb did. That might be the only one I remember.
Smash on one hop to Sanchez. On to first. And that will do it. Well, the Rangers do not get a run, but Joey Gallo makes some more noise. Mac, thanks for joining us. We'll see you after the ball game on Rangers Live. 7-2 Rangers.
Seen a couple days ago, the victory bath Josh Hamilton takes, but I think Emily Jones took the brunt of it. I tell you what, that was like a lake. But you know what? The hard work paid off for Emily because a fan in the stands gave us this nice Powerade trophy saying Emily Jones took one for the team. Melissa Young, we're going to present that to Emily right here. The question is, Emily, you're not in a white dress today. You're in a green dress. And you know what? As this game holds up, Joey Gallo, the rookie, is going to get a victory bath. What did you have in mind?
I am going to stay as far away from him as possible. I will use every bit of my arm length to do the interview and see if I can't see it coming and get out of the way.
Delano DeShields made a nice catch here. We have something for you, Emily. I got this from the Majestic shop. Just put the umbrella, the Ranger umbrella up, and you'll be well protected.
Yes, I got it. I'll take this. I should have brought some rain gear as well, but I think the umbrella will do. I appreciate you looking out for me, Noxie.
Anytime, anytime. All right, Emily. There we go. Nice trophy, Melissa Young. Thank you very much. We put it in her hands. There we go. Good luck afterwards, Em.
Oh, my goodness. Well, one out here in the top of the 6th inning as LaRoche skied out to left. Avisail Garcia, who is 0 for 2 tonight. A pair of groundouts up there. Colby pulling the string and had Garcia out in front. 1 ball and 1 strike. Next pitch for Colby, number 75 for the evening. 1-2. Garcia, originally with the Detroit Tigers, and a lot of folks compared him to not only his mannerisms, his ability to hit, but just his physical presence with Miguel Cabrera.
A lot of similarities.
Yeah. Elvis charging and on the run. Throws out Garcia. 2 gone. Connor Gillespie coming up. Let's send it over to John Radigan for a Mazda game break. All right, John, thank you. Well, 2 outs here in the 6th. Colby now has retired 6 straight. And he will face Connor Gillespie, who had a single his last time up. 1 for 2 tonight. Gillespie getting the start at DH. Jose Abreu, the normal first baseman, still bothered by an index finger on his right hand. It has given him trouble. He's been out the last 3 ball games. He's forced Adel LaRoche to play first base and vacated the designated hitter role. Gillespie has filled in well the last couple of days. No balls and 2 strikes as Colby jumps out in front. Gillespie a .259 average. Colby got him on the fist, and a little pop fly is going to reach the seats on the third base side. This for Gillespie, just his 3rd start at DH. And his first one in our 2nd one Sunday. And prior to that, it was 2 years ago. Last time he had started at DH. Another 0-2 pitch. And just missed. 1-2. Ed Hickox, the home plate umpire, talking with Carlos Corporan right after that pitch. And the next one is fouled down. Rangers 7 runs on 10 hits tonight. White Sox 2 runs on 5 hits. Neither side has committed a miscue defensively. Another foul back. An 87-degree evening has turned into low 80s, 81, 82. Still a brisk breeze blowing in from center field. Very comfortable night here at Globe Life Park as we begin the month of June. Rangers 19-11 for the month of May. Leading either the major leagues or at least the American League in virtually every major offensive category. Get a look at Colby. 3rd inning, the only high pitch inning for him. Chops that one foul. Gillespie staying alive up there. Rangers in the month of May led the major leagues in runs scored. Also in home runs, extra base hits, total bases, and slugging. Call strike 3. Gillespie throws it at home plate. And he is gone. Oh, another 1-2-3 inning. That's 7 straight sent down by Colby Lewis. White Sox out. And after 5 1/2, it remains 7-2 Rangers. Slam inning brought to you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot is $1,200 and dinner for two at Sonic Drive-In. If a Ranger hits a home run this inning, Bonnie Dickerson of Crowley, Texas, will win $1,200. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, Bonnie Dickerson will win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Hanser Alberto leading things off against Jeff Smargic. A strike on the outside corner evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Alberto 0 for 2. Line to right in the first, rounded out to third in the third. 2-1. Alberto recalled last Thursday from AAA Round Rock. It was a .303 hitter down there, and he had really come on the last couple of weeks of play offensively for the Express. Takes that pitch in for a strike. .42 games at AAA and a couple of home runs, 13 RBI. It's fouled back over our heads.
Samardzija only had 1 start this year where he gave up 7 earned runs. That was the end of April against Baltimore. You mentioned how well he'd been pitching coming into this ball game, which makes the Ranger performance even more impressive.
Dying in left center, that's down for a base hit. And Hanser Alberto with a 4-game hitting streak. Aboard to start the 6th inning. It'll bring up Delino DeShields again. Take a look at our Ford leaderboard. This is updated now, and the Rangers have crept up into the number 2 spot overall. Now, this is not just for the month of May that just completed. Wow. This is overall.
How would you have felt if someone showed you that back on April 25th or April 26th?
No chance. You must be dreaming. The Rangers have done that, though. Now 2nd in the American League, behind only Toronto, and they're closing that gap. But Delino DeShields, a base hit tonight. That was a bunt base hit back in the 2nd.
And Toronto's 23-29. I think they lost tonight. They're 23-30.
Well, you talk about not living up to expectations.
Yeah, every year people are wondering if this will be the year for Toronto, but they just can't put the pitching together.
No, you're right.
And even leading the league in runs, they've still had several players who haven't performed the way they were expected to.
Right by Ramirez at short. Alberto will stop at 2nd. That ball was scorched, and the 2nd hop didn't come up the way that Ramirez thought it was going to.
Ramirez is a slick fielding shortstop. You would expect him to make this play, but it was really hit hard. He just missed it.
Yep.
Too hot to handle.
Robin Ventura on his way out to the mound. Looks like he's going to signal for the bullpen. Dan Jennings, the left-hander, out there. And that'll be it for Jeff Smargic. So Smargic goes 5 innings plus 2 hitters here in the 6th. He departs on the wrong end of a 7-2 Ranger lead. Now Jennings coming on. We'll take a timeout at Globe Life Park. We're right back after this. And Chevron would like to tell you about tomorrow's pitching matchup. Chris Sale, hard-throwing left-hander, one of the best left-handers in the game for the White Sox. Nick Martinez, 4-1 record, a very fine 2.03 ERA on the hill for the Rangers. That'll be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And there's a very disappointed Jeff Samardzija, as he is on the White Sox bench, out after 5 innings plus tonight and 12 hits. Oh, Dan Jennings appearing for his 21st time this year. Left-hander in there to face Shin-Soo Choo. He got runners at first and second. Nobody out here in the 6th inning. Breaking ball from Jennings. It's 0-1. Choo 1 for 3, a home run his last time up. Jennings a long look back at second. And Choo went around for strike 2. Alberto at second. Delino to Shields over at first. Up the middle, that's into center field, a base hit. Alberto being waved around. He will score without a throw. On to third is the Shields, and Shin-Soo Choo with the RBI. It is 8-2 Rangers.
Well, the pitch before that, Jennings made a nice pitch with a slider down and away. Shin-Soo couldn't check his swing and went for strike 2, 0-2. The 0-2 pitch is a hanger right down the middle of the plate. And Shin-Soo says, thank you very much for the location of that pitch. I'll take it.
Now Choo driving in his second run of the night. Now has 25 RBI for the year. We have a little delay as security takes care of a small problem on the field.
Yeah, a small problem is going to cost him a night in jail and about a $2,500 fine.
Is that what it is now?
I think that's ballpark figure for what it is. And he didn't even run. He walked out there and sat down. That may be the weakest performance in history. And as usual, you will not be seen.
That's correct. Prince Fielder waiting, and tell by the disgust on Prince's face. Bring that fan over and he'd give you a little piece of his mind.
Best one was during a football game when Mike Curtis, the linebacker for the Colts, that guy tried to take the ball.
I remember
he
that.
Flattened that guy, boy.
And then the guy had the gall to try and sue him a year later.
Yeah. Should have gone to trial. He should have done it again while the guy was sitting in the courtroom. You want to sue me for this, buddy.
Yeah, I really didn't get a good shot on you the first time. Now we're set to go. Here's Prince, 1 for 3 tonight. Runners at the corner, still nobody out. And out of play to the left. The White Sox are in a bit of a shift. And they've got Alexi Ramirez, the shortstop, maybe 3 steps to the third base side of second base. So it's not an extreme overshift, but Fielder has shown the desire and ability to go the other way, especially against a left-hander in run-scoring situations. And Jennings missing outside. Prince, 38 RBI this year. Came in tied for second in the American League. Jennings a check of the runners. Softly up the middle. That's going to get the run home. And the only play that Ramirez has is to first. Fielder retired, but in to score. Delino to Shields. Into second, Shin-Soo Choo, and the Rangers lead it 9-2. Well, however you can get it done, Prince Fielder got it done. Got the run home.
Yeah, with that defensive alignment, that's all they could do is get the out at first base. Going to go with 9 earned runs for Jeff Samardzija.
Yeah, that closes the book on him for tonight. 12 hits, 9 runs, all of them earned. Now Mitch Moreland trying to add on to Dan Jennings' earned runs here tonight. Mitch 1 for 3, a couple of strikeouts and a single. Jennings a long look at Chu at second. 2 balls, no strikes. Dan Jennings up and down the last 3 years with the Miami Marlins. Came over in the offseason to trade. Andre Rienzo went from the White Sox to Miami. That's way outside. 3 balls, no strikes. Jennings working to Moreland. He is the 4th place hitter. Robin Ventura doesn't exactly have a lot of good things on his mind right now. Elvis Andrus waiting in the on-deck circle. 3-0 pitch coming. Against the White Sox coming into play, had gone 4-4 in the first 8 games of this road trip for him. Ventura's club in 5th place, but 7 games out in the American League Central. Outside, ball 4. Mitch draws the walk. 2 on, 1 out for Elvis Andrus. They're 7 games out, and here's another one with Florida. Who's leading the American League Central? Somebody told you the first week of the season that this time of year Minnesota would have a game lead in the American League Central. You'd say,
I wouldn't have picked them. In fact, I can't really remember, but I think the first week of the season they just started off terrible. They looked like they were going to lose 100 games. Man, they're putting it together right now.
Yes, they are.
But as they say, it's 4 months left in this season. A long way to go. I remember a year going to the All-Star game in Toronto. I don't even remember what year it was. I was taking my daughter to Toronto for the All-Star break. The All-Star game was in Toronto. We had just beaten the Angels. I don't know if it was 4 straight, 3 out of 4, beat Mark Langston and maybe Mike Witt. And we were in first place by 2 games at the All-Star break. And everybody's feeling great. And obviously we didn't win the pennant that year. It was a nice season, but so much can happen. What's happened after 2 months really doesn't mean a whole lot.
Now the Rangers game on Thursday night will hit the 1/3 mark of the season.
Yeah.
It'll be game number 54. Well, Elvis an opportunity to add more. Yep, Bannister's club leading 9-2, and Elvis trying to add on. Takes inside. 3 balls and no strikes, and
I got to load him up again.
No, you are. Yeah, looking down there in the on-deck circle. Guess who? Joey Gallo waiting again. 3-0 pitch. We're going to have another shot at it. And this is our Sonic Slam inning.
Now this really would put some icing on the cake if he won 25 grand. What's the lady's name?
Don't have it. Bonnie. Don't have it handy. Bonnie, you want to make sure and sit down, though. I'll tell you that. Bonnie Dickinson, Crowley, Texas. Major League debut. Chris Bryant, power hitter for the Cubs. Much ballyhooed, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts in his debut. And Joey Gallo tonight, 3 for 3, a home run, a double, 4 RBI. A little bit different. So Bonnie Dickinson of Crowley. Sit down, buckle your seatbelt. Joey Gallo's up there with a chance to win you $25,000. 1 ball, no strikes. Gallo with a single, a double, and a home run. Joey, 21 and a half years of age, or thereabouts.
There are a lot of people standing in the stands right now.
A lot of smartphones being used as recorders. On the outside corner. 1-1.
Well, that was a good pitch to take. Saw what happened with Shin-Soo Choo. He threw him a couple of sliders, threw him a great one. That one could have easily been a ball. It was farther outside than the one before it. But be careful if you hang one.
Jennings coming back to the plate.
The call on the second pitch. If he called that a ball, then he probably takes that pitch if he threw him a slider 2-0. Instead, you call that one pitch a strike and almost gets the hitter in a swing mode.
Yeah. Bases full of Rangers. A ball and 2 strikes. Got him swinging. Pitch down. Gallo with a strikeout. Well, folks disappointed, but they give him a very nice round of applause.
It's like a guy losing a perfect game.
Yeah, nobody more disappointed than Joey Gallo. You see the expression on his face. He's doggone it. That's not what I wanted to do. So 2 gone. And Carlos Corporán up there. Bases still loaded. Corporán 0 for 2 this evening. Ball 1. Rangers put 4 on the board in the first, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 2 more here in the sixth. And they still have the bases loaded with 2 outs for Corporán. Jennings, a letter high set. Gets the call on the inside corner. Good look from the upper home run porch out there in right field. To right center, that is down for a hit. 1 runs across. Here comes Moreland. He will score. Stopping at third, Elvis Andrews. A 2-run single for Carlos Corporán. It is 11-2 Rangers.
Rangers closing the gap on the leaders and on the leader in runs scored in the American League. Carlos serves one over second base for a couple.
Well, 11 runs and 14 hits tonight for all the Rangers. Leonis Martin at the plate has 2 of them. He has driven in a couple, 2 for 3 tonight. Let's take strike 1. Martin at .233 with the average. To right field, Garcia makes the catch. That'll do it. Rangers send 9 men to the plate. 4 of them score. 2 left. We're going to the 7th. It's now the Rangers 11, the White Sox 2.
Number 13, Joey Gallo.
Chuck Morgan introduced him, and from there on, it was Joey Gallo's night. A 2-run single in his first Major League at-bat. A 2-run home run in his second Major League at-bat. And a curtain call with Prince Fielder pointing the way. Third time up. Oh, so close to his second home run. Pretty good night for the young man. Anchoring the Rangers outburst tonight, 11-2. Colby Lewis back to the mound, and nice play by Alberto behind the bag. Comes up throwing, gets Ramirez for out number 1.
A lot of strikes for Colby. Gave up the 1 home run to Adam Eaton. Other than that, he has been in command of this game. Henzer Alberto, really a shortstop, playing second base. He's got good hands, good arm, good range.
Got the Rawlings Gold Glove for the top minor league shortstop last year. I mean, in all the minor leagues.
Yep.
He can definitely pick it. And second base apparently agrees with him. The 1 out. And Gordon Beckham taking strike 1. Colby Lewis, by the way, now has retired 8 straight. Beckham, the last hitter to reach base against Colby. Had a single in the 4th inning. Colby gave up the 2 runs in the 3rd. A leadoff single by Soto and a 1-out 2-run home run to Adam Eaton. That's been it. Base hit by Beckham. Oh, 1-out single, 1 on for Giovanni Soto. Well, folks, you can follow the Rangers all season in 2015 with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or your tablet. Giovanni Soto 1 out of 2 tonight. Colby pumping in strike 1. 217 Soto's average. Nothing and 2. This for Giovanni Soto, his 19th start of the year. I mentioned he's caught all 9 of Jeff Smarge's outings. Lewis with a belt high set. Got him swinging. There's that slider from Colby Lewis, his strikeout pitch, and that's his 4th of the evening.
4 strikeouts, no walks. Those nights where all the pitches are working for him. Gave Soto a couple of pitches to hit up in the strike zone. Then threw that ball down in no man's land, and Soto chased it, couldn't lay off it.
John Edwards up and throwing.
93 pitches for Colby. John gets loose.
Now with 2 outs, Carlos Sanchez gets his second, or comes to bat for his 3rd time tonight. Sanchez robbed as he led off the 5th inning. A great diving catch in left field by Delino to Shields on a sinking line drive. And he's going to give him a little bit easier play. Delino coasting over toward the line, and that will do it. 1-out single by Beckham, no harm done. He is stranded. It's stretch time at the ballpark. Globe Life Park with the Rangers leading 11-2. and meet Mitch Moreland, the Ranger first baseman. That's tomorrow. Come on out to the Whataburger on Airport Freeway on Euless. Don't miss this chance to win great prizes and to meet one of your favorite Rangers at Whataburger. Now we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. And for the White Sox, they will make another pitching change. It'll be former Ranger Hector Noesi coming on to take over on the hill. Noesi can appear in his 8th ball game out of the bullpen.
Not going real well for Hector so far this year. 24 innings, 14 walks, and 6 home runs. That adds up to a high ERA.
And the first pitch to Hanser Alberto is high for ball 1. Alberto began the 4-run 6th inning by singling. And he lashes that one out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Alberto 1 for 3 tonight, so he's hit safely in all 4 of his big league games with the Rangers. Facing Hector Noesi, the 6'3" right-hander. And he's got another base hit. Alberto reaching down and just smoothly slapping that into left field for the leadoff single. No one on, nobody out. Delino DeShields will be next, and we're going to send it over to John Radigan for a Mazda game break.
Left fielder, Delino DeShields.
All right, John, thank you. We talk about teams not being able to get it untracked lately. The Tigers would fall into that category.
Yeah, Tigers look like they're going to run away with it first couple weeks of the year.
DeShields, a drive to left field. Going back is Melky Cabrera. He makes the catch going away from home plate, and back to first base. Those hands are Alberto's. Delino gave it a pretty good ride, but comes up empty.
Delino's got a bunt single, a hard ground ball single, and then he's hit a ball to right field that Garcia ran down. And now a hard hit ball to left field that Cabrera runs down. A good night with a bat for Delino. Could have been a great night with a little luck on those balls hit to the outfield to win a little bit farther.
Here's another guy having a big night with the bat, Shin-Soo Choo. And he's got another base hit. That's his 3rd of the night. Around to 3rd. Those hands are Alberto. And Shin-Soo Choo now 2 singles and a home run. He is 3 for 5 and on base again. And Noesi's lucky he got that ball back.
Yeah.
That was in a pretty hittable area.
Just hit a little bit on top of the ball.
So 16 hits now for the Rangers. Runners at 1st and 3rd. Here's Prince. He pops up the first pitch behind home plate. That'll be back and out of play. Fielder 1 for 3 tonight. Had a single and scored in the 1st inning. Last time up in the 6th. Walked and scored. Had the RBI on a ground out. Excuse me, he's 1 for 4 tonight. Getting ahead of myself. Noesi a check of the runners. Have Hanser Alberto at 3rd base. Over at 1st, Shin-Soo Choo. Noesi peering in for the sign. And Prince fighting off a tough pitch. Still 1-2. Another RBI opportunity for Prince Fielder. He has been just about automatic, at least since the beginning of May. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Skag pitch tracker showing you the dispersal of those pitches. Tapper right back to the mound. Noesi to second, and they're going to turn it over. No, that retires the Rangers. They get no runs on 2 hits and leave 1. We have finished 7 at Globe Life Park. It's the Rangers 11 and the White Sox 2.
As a fan of the game, and we find her, of course, in the upper home run porch. This is Taylor, along with her friend Taylor. She's the one that caught, or at least the ball landed in her seat, the Joey Gallo's first career home run ball, upper deck. And Taylor, congratulations. Here's the Progressive bag. She comes from Kingfisher, Oklahoma, right outside Oklahoma City, working on a mission trip. And lo and behold, all of a sudden, the ball was coming your way. What were you thinking?
I thought it was going to go over me, so I really wasn't thinking. And then all of a sudden, I felt something like on my side, and it was the ball. I just kind of was like, wow, I didn't expect that to happen.
There we go. And you gave the baseball back, of course, and Augie took care of you in the clubhouse, gave you a couple jerseys, a hats, and taken care of, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, congratulations. Who's your favorite player now?
Joey Gallo.
Okay, you got the first name. There we go. All right, well, congratulations.
Augie can take care of some people. He's a pretty good negotiator.
Yes,
pretty
he
fair.
is.
Pretty fair with
He
folks.
wants both sides to be happy.
Yeah.
Obviously, the player's going to be happy to get the ball, but he wants the fan to be happy too.
Well, John Edwards on in relief. Colby Lewis finished after 7. Edwards appearing in his 5th ball game, his 4th since being recalled his last time. He has not been scored upon this year. A little check swing. Adam Eaton at the plate, a ball and 2 strikes. John Edwards from Keller, Texas. A local product, Keller High School. Adam Eaton, the only runs produced tonight for the White Sox, courtesy of his 2-run home run. To center field, Leonis Martin will track this one down. 1 away. Colby Lewis, 7 good innings of work tonight before giving way to John Edwards. Colby with the 2 runs on 6 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts, and he was extremely efficient. That 3rd inning, the one that he gave up the runs in, the only inning he got extended at all. He got to 25 pitches, but he had things pretty well in hand. Of course, having the Rangers put runs on the board at will tonight makes a big difference. But you need to know what to do with a lead like that. Colby obviously knows what to do with it, and I'm sure he appreciates the support. Fastball in for a strike to Melky Cabrera. Cabrera has flied out twice and grounded out tonight. 2-1. Last time we saw John Edwards on Sunday, he worked 2/3 of an inning in that Ranger comeback win against the Boston Red Sox. A good fastball at the knees. 2-2. John, overall, 2 2/3 innings of work this year. Skag pitch tracker showing you the location of that one. Down on strikes is Milky Cabrera. Good fastball thrown right on by him. Well, folks, Saturday MLB on Fox Sports 1 returns. The Rangers take on the Royals, and then it's baseball night in America as the Angels square off against the Yankees. Coverage begins at 12:30 p.m. on your home for baseball every Saturday, Fox and Fox Sports 1. The 2 away here in the 8th inning. Adam LaRoche going the other way, lines it over the leap of Joey Gallo.
Pretty nice job of hitting right there by Adam LaRoche. Walked up, sees John Edwards for the first time, and lines a 96-mile-an-hour fastball into left field. Hit a couple of long fly balls in this game for outs. Well, got pretty good wood on that line drive.
The LaRoche aboard, that is just the 7th hit of the night for the White Sox. Avisail Garcia, who has grounded out all 3 times he's come to the plate, steps in. Kind of backed away from that breaking ball. It's strike 1. I would suppose as an on-deck hitter, you've seen 95, 96, and nothing with a wrinkle in it, and he throws you the first pitch breaking ball. You're not going to hang around to see it.
No, you're probably not. You're definitely not going to hit it.
Carlos Correa doing a little instruction back there for John Edwards. He gives him the sign and set to go. 2 balls and a strike. Garcia hitting at .316 overall. Hits it well to center. And Leonis Martin able to backpedal and make the grab. That will do it. The White Sox out in the 8th. No runs a hit. 1 man left after 7.5. The Rangers 11 and the White Sox 2.
interesting. The Rangers lead the White Sox 11-2 as we head to the bottom of the 8th. This the opener of a 3-game set between the White Sox and the Rangers. Game 2 will be tomorrow at 7 o'clock here on Fox Sports Southwest. There you saw a couple of the principals in that one. Elvis Andrus with 18 RBI, which is second among AL shortstops. Things get going at 7 once again here on Fox Sports Southwest, and we thank the folks at AT Uverse for providing us. I can't talk. Maybe AT Uverse can help me talk, but they provided us with good information that I wasn't able to convey very clearly. Back to you.
Em, you're okay. We got that. It's all right.
And you're still a little bit messed up from the Powerade bath you took the other day. It's going to take you a while.
It's ball and lines 1 to right. He has his second base hit. And Mitch got an off-speed pitch from Noesi and pounded that to right for a leadoff single. That is hit number 17 for the Rangers tonight. Well, folks, on Sunday, June 13th, Rangers take on the Twins right here at Globe Life Park. The first 7,500 kids 13 and under will get to take home a cereal bowl. That's sponsored by Dairy Max. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com and bring your kids home happy. One on, nobody out. Elvis Andrus at the plate has walked twice tonight and singled. He has scored 2 runs, 1 for 2 officially. Sweeping breaking ball from Noesi, and Elvis able to lay off. 2 balls, no strikes. Noesi back to the plate. 2-1 now. Well, Elvis, the average at 237, they would say, well, not that good, but he is 1 behind the lead now for the team in walks. Matter of fact, with the 2 walks tonight, he takes the lead.
He took the lead.
Yeah. Shin-Soo Choo didn't have a walk tonight. Elvis, and that had not been in the past one of his strong points, but he's doing a much better job of getting on base that way. Lines it to the gap in left center. That is down and between Cabrera and Eaton. All the way to the wall. Moreland being waved around third, going for 3. Elvis in with a headlong dive, and the Rangers lead it 12-2.
Yeah, Buzz, earlier in the game, we were talking about the slightly different stance and the ability to drive the ball with authority to left field. And he's been doing that off and on all year. Is another example of it. He gets a fastball to hit. Instead of flaring it to right field, he hits it with authority into the gap in left center field. And I think that's only going to get better as he gets more and more comfortable with that with that style of a swing.
Now here's Joey Gallo, and he just rearranged the air currents here in the ballpark with that swing. Holy cow. And he's got a lot of folks on their feet again. Noesi back to him. 1 ball, 1 strike. Joey Gallo in his major league debut tonight is 3 for 4. Single, double, home run, 4 RBI. He's got Elvis at third base with 1 out here. 1-2. Crowd of 27,558. He had a big walk up here tonight.
She's watching the Beatles.
Gallo takes low. The walk-up crowd due in large part to the man in your picture right there, Joey Gallo.
Well, they got
folks wanting to come out and see.
They got their money's worth, didn't they?
They sure have. They want to see one more time. 2-2 pitch. The Skag pitch tracker showing you a great deal of respect for Joey Gallo. Payoff pitch. Emily got that one. Emily, you okay down there?
He's good. That may have been the closest one ever.
Really?
Yeah. I heard that one like whiz by my ear real fast. Woo-wee.
I'm glad you're okay. Another 3-2.
Watch out.
The ball seems to come off his bat fairly quickly. Noesi back to the plate. Inside, ball 4. Gallo draws his first major league walk. He hasn't left much for him to do from now on.
The only thing he's got to do is field a ground ball. I don't think he's had a chance.
No, he hasn't. You're right.
I don't think he's touched the ball yet.
You're right. No, runners at the corner. Still nobody out with a run across here in the 8th inning. Carlos Corcoran up for his 4th at-bat of the night. Corcoran, an RBI 2-run single, I should say, in the 6th inning. A strike for Noesi. Carlos now at 183 with the average. Rangers 12 runs on 18 hits here tonight. Fouled out of play. Nothing in 2. Corcoran now 7 RBI with that 2-run single. And a souvenir for that lucky fan. That ball is hit well to right field. Garcia back at the wall. Goodbye. Corky Town. A 3-run bomb for Corcoran. It is 15-2 Rangers.
Carlos comes in and pinch hits in the 3rd inning. 5 RBIs on the night.
Yeah, he doubles his RBI total. How about that one? Corcoran with his 2nd home run of the year. He went down and got that pitch right at the bottom of the strike zone, according to our Skag pitch tracker, and drove it right on out of here. So 15-2, 19 hits. Leonis Martin fouling one high in the air and out of play down the 3rd base side. Now Gallo, Chu, and now Corcoran. Rangers with 3 home runs tonight. Now 57, make that 58 for the year. Martin fouling back that high pitch. Leonis a 2-hit night. And Carlos Corcoran explaining to Elvis what he did.
Looks like Elvis is explaining to him. Elvis is telling Corpy how he did it.
He's trying to figure out what to do.
Elvis has had a nice game, but come on, Corpy's got 2 hits and 5 runs batted in. He ought to be doing the talking.
1-2 pitch. 2-2. I'm not sure that anybody is going to give the floor up to Elvis when Elvis wants to get going.
No, that's true. That's true. He will not be out talking.
No, he will not be.
Corpy didn't want to hear it, so now he's going to try Prince. Prince passed him by.
Sanchez, a nice pickup, and he throws across his body to get Leonis Martin. That's the first out here in the 8th inning.
Second baseman, Hanser Alberto.
The full moon, that may explain part of the night. 15 runs, that ties a season high. 19 hits for the Rangers. I believe that's the most they've had in a game this year. One out, bases empty. Hanser Alberto already with a couple of hits tonight, 2 for 4. And he takes strike one. Hanser now a 400 hitter. Hits it pretty well to right. Garcia backpedaling a bit. 2 gone. Now Delino to Shields will get his 6th at bat of the evening. DeShields 2 for 5. Pair of singles, a run scored tonight. Well, you go back over the last 20 ball games now for Delino DeShields. He's hitting right at 325 in those 20 games. He's also scored 19 runs. Shallow center, Sanchez making the call and the catch. That'll do it. But Rangers score 4 more on 3 hits and a walk. Nobody left. We're going to the 9th. Rangers 15 and the White Sox 2.
Nineteen hits establishes a season high, and the Rangers have a 15-2 lead. John Radigan up here in the Captain Morgan Club getting ready for Rangers Live. So many topics, so much fun to talk about, and we'll be here to talk all of it. Mark McLemore will join me. Emily Jones will too. We'll hear from Jim Knox. We'll be in the clubhouse. Jeff Bannister, Buzz and Tom will weigh in. It's going to be a fun show. Right after the game, it's Rangers Live. Guys, let's get it back over to you.
All right, John, as we head to the top of the 9th inning, most of the crowd of 27,558 still on hand tonight. And they're going to watch Anthony Bass come out of the bullpen to work in his 16th ball game of the year. Connor Gillespie leading things off, and Anthony Bass fires strike one. Bass, the 27-year-old right-hander from the Detroit, Michigan area. Hasn't worked since the 27th of May. That was against Cleveland. It was a game that Anthony came in and worked 4 1/3 innings out of the bullpen that night. Gillespie 1 for 3 this evening. Had a 4th inning single. Other than that, has grounded out and struck out. Late swing on the fastball. It is 1-2.
The White Sox are missing Jose Abreu. He's missed a couple of games with a swollen right index finger. He's really the big offensive threat in the middle of their lineup. So they're definitely not the same team without him. And they're a team that struggled all season long offensively. They're scoring 3.7 runs per game.
2-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Bass going up the ladder. Gillespie didn't have a ladder to reach up that high.
Abreu last year was the Rookie of the Year. He hit .317 with 36 home runs and knocked in 107 runs. Well, they can't afford to be without him for very long.
Now the reports were they thought he was going to be able to play tonight.
Did they?
Yeah, and it just it didn't work out. They thought they had an off day yesterday also. They thought with the treatment that he was able to receive and the extra time off that he'd be okay, but apparently that was not the case. Here's Alexi Ramirez. He drives one to right. Shin-Soo Choo almost overran it.
That thing got there in a hurry, boy. He caught that ball. He almost closed his glove too quick. It looked like a softball in his glove.
He had to make sure it stayed in there.
He caught it right at the bottom of his glove.
Well, there are 2 outs here in the 9th inning, and Gordon Beckham, who has had a couple of hits tonight, 2 for 3. Facing Anthony Bass, base is empty. 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, to your point, Tom, the White Sox now have scored 181 runs this year, and that is 10 fewer than the next in line. It has been a tough go for Robin Ventura's club.
Try it again.
Fly ball to right. Choo makes a more routine catch this time, and that one is a winner. So Anthony Bass works a 1-2-3 9th inning. The White Sox go down to defeat the Rangers. Pummel Chicago 15-2 tonight. 19 hits for the Rangers. And Kobe Lewis goes to 5-3 on the year. And Joey Gallo, to say that he made a pretty good first impression would be a vast understatement. He was just outstanding tonight. Single, double, home run, and a walk in his first major league game at 21 years, 195 days old. This young man showing you why there was so much praise heaped upon him as the overall the top-rated prospect in the Rangers minor league system. Overall in baseball, number 9 highest prospect among all teams. So Joey Gallo showing you a glimpse of what the future is going to look like here at Globe Life Park as he goes 2 for 4 tonight, or 3 for 4, excuse me, with a walk in his major league debut. And the Rangers ride his bat and a few others to a victory here tonight as they win 15-2. The Rangers now have won 4 straight ball games. They are now 10-14 here at home and on the right path. They go to 27-25. And let's head down to the field. Emily Jones is standing by with Joey Gallo.
Joey Gallo, 3 for 4, 4 RBIs, a home run, a curtain call. Is this what little boy Joey Gallo dreamed his major league debut would be?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't expect it to be like this, but you know, I'm extremely excited that it is. It was great. You know, I was pretty nervous coming out, so it was good to get that first game under my belt.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that. How neat was it to see your parents as you rounded the bases watching you?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy to see them there. You know, I'm glad they came out, and you know, they're wearing my jersey, so they won't get too much bad people yelling at them and stuff because I had a pretty good game, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, your mom mentioned a conversation that you guys had when you told her you got called up, that everything was worth it. All the road trips, all the practices, all the tournaments, all that paying off here tonight. How special is this?
Yeah, it's special. It's not only just for me, but my entire family. You know, they put in so much work to get me to this point. You know, all the road trips, 14-hour road trips everywhere, every weekend, missing dances at school, high school. You know, it pays off for this moment right here. And, you know, I'm extremely happy, not just for me, but my entire family.
Joey, enjoy this moment. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Joey Gallo, our TXU Energy Power Player of the Game. This one pretty much a no-brainer, fellas.
All right, Emily, special night for the Gallos and for the Ranger fans, too. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. by AT&T UVerse TV. UVerse has more live TV channels on the go than cable. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer now for great deals on America's best-selling brand. Ford is the best in Texas. 15-2, the final here at Globe Life Park. John Rowdy and Mark McLemore will be back to wrap things up right after this on Fox Sports Southwest.